A year ago, I stepped into a life I never thought would belong to me. I grew up in Ocala, and I spent most of my life trying to get away. Shortly after I moved back a few years ago, I found out that I was pregnant, and I was terrified. I was living in South Florida. I had built a pretty successful art career and a life for myself in a town that I really loved. When I moved back a few years ago, I was in a really low point of my life. I had allowed addiction to take over again. It was very uncomfortable. I was having to face a lot of demons. I was having to face a lot of discomfort. And especially moving back in with my parents, it felt like a huge failure. When I saw the 2 pink lines, I was terrified. 12 years prior, had a miscarriage, and a few years after that, had an abortion. I was really nervous of how I was going to cope mentally and financially. There really wasn't a lot of hope for me at the time. I found the Women's Pregnancy Center, and when I went in, was very unsure and scared, but the whole space felt very warm and gentle and inviting and safe. I met my advocate, Kay, who didn't rush me past my fear. She sat in it with me and helped me to realize I wasn't alone and that I didn't have to do this alone. I received one of the free ultrasounds, and I heard my baby's heartbeat. And in that moment, I started to feel a little bit of hope that this was something that I could trust and believe was the right path for me. I still wasn't sure whether or not I was going to continue down that path of keeping the baby. I received another ultrasound, and that appointment, my mom was allowed to come into the room with me. My mom was there holding my hand, and I heard the heartbeat, and it continued to solidify that hope within me that this was my path and this is the right path. Through the center, I was given a referral for a counselor to help me with all the pain that I was carrying at a rate that I could afford. Her name was Holly, and she has been my rock through this entire experience, and she hopefully knows that. Holly really helped me work through a lot of the issues I had before becoming a mother. She helped prepare me for motherhood in many ways. She's continually pointed me back to God, and she really helped prepare me for motherhood. And then my son, Elliot, was born. He was born on March 19th, 2025, 8 pounds, 10 ounces, 22 inches long at 9:18 p.m. It was 30 hours of labor. I was not expecting that, but he was perfect. They placed him on my chest, and in that moment, every fear I had during pregnancy went away. He was healthy. It was so wonderful, magical, substantial, and I couldn't have asked for a more perfect gift from God. Motherhood has grounded me in ways I didn't know was possible. Looking at Elliot now, I really see how much support shaped this story for me. To have a place like the Women's Pregnancy Center to meet me where I am was imperative for the success of my journey. Motherhood has brought me back to my faith in God. It's brought me back to my childhood church where I was baptized, where my son Elliot was baptized, where my grandparents attended. It just feels really good to be back home and growing roots where I once cut them off. I'm getting healthy, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting back to my art. I am deeply grateful for the Women's Pregnancy Center, my therapist, my family, and everyone who helped carry me through this journey, and to my son, who brought me home in more ways than one.